Sleep now departed, and went his ways to find and fro among mankind, leaving Poseidon more eager than ever to help the Danaans. He darted forward among the first ranks, shouting, saying, Argives, shall we let Hector, son of Priam, have the triumph of taking our ships and covering himself with glory? This is what he says that he shall now do, seeing that Achilles is still in the dudgeon at his ship. He shall get on very well about him, if we keep each other in heart and stand by one another. Now therefore, let us all do as I say. Let us each take the best and largest shields we can lay hold of, put our helmets, and sally forth with our longest spears in our hands. I will lead you on, and Hector, son of Priam, rage as he may, will not dare to hold out against us. If any good soldier has only a small shield, let him hand it over to a worse man, and take a larger one for himself. Thus did he speak, and they did even as he said. The son of Tydeus, Odysseus, and Agamemnon, wounded though they were, set the others in array, and went about everywhere, effecting the exchanges of armor. The most valiant took the best armor, and gave the worst to the worst man. When they had done their bronze armor, they marched on with Poseidon at their head, and his strong hand he grasped his terrible sword, keen of edge and flashing like lightning, blows at him who comes across in the day of battle. All men quake for fear and keep away from it. Hector on the other side of the Trojan in array, thereon Poseidon and Hector waged fierce war on one another. Hector on the Trojan, and Poseidon on the Argive side. Mighty was the uproar while the two forces met. The sea came rolling in towards the ships and tents of the Phrygians, but the sea came rolling. Waves do not thunder on the shore more loudly when driven before the blast of Boreas, nor do the flames of a forest fire roar more fiercely when it is well light upon the mountains, nor does the wind bellow with redder music as it tears on through the tops of when it's blowing its hardest. When the terrible shout which the Trojans and Achaeans raised they sprang upon one another. Hector first aimed the spear at Ajax, who was turned full towards him, nor did he miss his aim. The spear struck him with two bands, passed over his chest. A band of his shield had a silver-studded sword, and these received his body. Hector was angry if the spear should have been hurled in vain, or drew under cover of his men. As he was thus retreating, Ajax, son of Telamon, struck him with a stone, of which there were many lying about under the men's feet as they fought, brought there to give support to the ships' sides as they lay on the shore. Ajax caught up one of them and struck Hector above the rim of his shield, close to his neck. The blow made him spin round like a top and reel in all directions, as an oak falls headlong when uprooted by the lightning flash of Father Zeus, and there is a terrible smell of brimstone. No man can help being dismayed if he is standing near it, for a thunderbolt is a very awful thing. Even so did Hector fall to earth and bite the dust. His spear fell from his hand, but his shield and helmet remained fast above his body, and his bronze armor rang about him. The sons of the Phrygians came running with a loud cry towards him, hoping to drag him, and they showered their darts on the Trojans, but none of them could wound him. Before he was surrounded and covered by the princes of Polydamas, Aeneas, Agenor, Sarpedon, captain of the Lycians, noble Galatas, and of others too, there was not one of them who was unmindful of him, and they held their round shields over him to cover him. His comrades then lifted him off the ground and bore him away from the battle to the place where his horses stood waiting for him at the rear of the fight. Both the driver and the chariots of these then took his towards the city, groaning in great pain. When they reached the ford of the fair stream of Xanthus, begotten of immortal Zeus, they took him from off his chariot and laid him down on the ground. They poured water over him. As they did so, he breathed again and opened his eyes. Then kneeling on his knees, he vomited the blood, that soon fell back onto the ground, and his eyes were closed again in darkness, for he was still stunned by the blow. When the Argives saw Hector leaving the field, they took heart and set upon the Trojans more furiously. Ajax, fleet son of Oileus, began by swinging on Xanthippus, son of Inops, and wounding him with his spear. A fair Naiad nymph had borne him to Inops, as he was herding cattle by the banks of the river Santionius. The son of Oileus came up to him and struck him in the flank, so that he fell in a fierce fight between the Trojans and the Danaans. Raged round his body. Polydamas, son of Amphialus, drew near to avenge him and wounded Prothenor, son of Areithous. On the right shoulder, the terrible spear went right through the shoulder and clutched the earth as he fell in the dust. Polydamas vaunted loudly over him, saying, Again I take it that the spear has not sped in vain from the strong hand of the son of Amphialus. An Argive has caught it in his body, and will serve him for a staff as he goes down into the house of Hades. The Argives were maddened by his boasting. Ajax, son of Telamon, was more angry than any, for he, the man, had fallen close beside him, so he aimed at Polydamas as he was retreating, but Polydamas saved himself by swerving aside, and the spear struck Archelaus, son of Anator, for heaven counseled his destruction. It struck him where the head springs from the neck at the top joint of the spine, and served both his tendons at the back of the head. His head, mouth, nostrils reached the ground long before his legs and knees could do so, and Ajax shouted to Polydamas, saying, Think, Polydamas, and tell me truly whether this man is not as well worth killing as Prothenor was. He seems rich and of rich family, of brother it may be, or the son of the knight Anator, for he is very like him. But he knew well who it was, and Trojans were greatly angered. Acamas then bestrode his brother's body and wounded Promachus, the Boeotian, with his spear, for he was trying to drag his brother's body away. Acamas vaunted loudly over him, saying, Argive archers, braggarts that you are, toil and suffering shall not be for us only, but some of you too shall fall here as well as ourselves. See how Promachus now sleeps, vanquished by my spear. Payment for my brother's blood has not been long delayed. A man therefore may well be thankful if he leaves a kinsman in his house behind him to avenge his fall. His taunts infuriated the Argives, and Telamon was more enraged than any of them. He sprang towards Acamas, but Acamas did not stand his ground, and he killed Ilianus, son of the rich flock master Phorbas, whom Hermes had favored and endowed with greater wealth than any of the other Trojans. Ilianus was his only son, and Peneleos now wounded him in the eye, under the eyebrows, tearing the eyeball from its socket. The spear went right through the eye into the nape of the neck, and he fell, stretching out both hands before him. Peneleos then drew his sword and smote him on the neck, so that both head and helmet came tumbling down to the ground, with the spear still sticking in the eye. He then held up the head as though it had been a poppy head, and showed it to the Trojans, vaunting over them as he did so. Trojans, he cried, good the father and mother of noble Helenas, make moan for him, their house, for the wife also of the Promachus, the son of Alegenor, will never be gladdening by the coming of her dear husband, when we Argives return with our ships from Troy. As he spoke, fear fell upon them, and every man looked round about to see whither he might fly for safety. Tell me now, O Muses, that dwell on Olympus, who was the first of the Argives to bear away bloodstained spoils after Poseidon, lord of the earthquake, had turned the fortune of war. Ajax, the son of Telamon, was first to win. Euryarchaeus, son of Euryarchaeus, captain of the staunch Mysians, Antilochus killed Philocles and Murmurius, while Nerones slew Marius, and Hippolytion Teucer also killed Prothum and Periphetes, the son of Atreus, then wounded Hyperenor, shepherd of his people, in the flank, and the bronze points made his entrails gush out as it tore in among them. On this his laugh came hurrying out of him at the place where he had been wounded, and his eyes were closed in darkness. Ajax, son of Oileus, killed more than any other, for this was no man so fleet as he to pursue flying foes when Zeus had spread panic among them.